Welcome to Terrifying Tales, the channel dedicated to bringing you original horror stories. Please support the channel by hitting the like button or leaving a comment, and please consider subscribing to the channel by hitting the subscribe button on the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Prefer to read it yourself? A written version of the story is available to read on Substack, and the link's in the description. The Ugly Duckling by C.J. Knight. One morning the egg appeared, seemingly from nowhere. It simply lay among the rushes at the pond's edge with all the others. The egg, much larger than the others, was streaked with dull grey veins that shimmered when the wind stirred the reeds. The mother duck stared uneasily. It was cold to the touch, almost oily. The mother duck tucked it beneath her breast with the others. When the eggs hatched, the other ducklings emerged yellow and squirming, their peeps bright. The last egg split with a long, wet tearing sound. The hatchling that slithered out was too large, its downless skin slick and grey, eyes pitch black. Its spindly neck stretched higher than the others, and when it tried to call, it made only a clicking from deep in its throat. The mother duck recoiled. Nearby, a young girl watched on from the grassy bank. She came to the pond each morning with a little basket of crumbs, scattering them for the ducks who crowded around her feet. Her name was Elise, and she was only 8. Elise loved the ducks with the fervour only children possess. When she saw the new hatchling, she took a step closer, peering curiously. Its blank dark eyes turned to meet hers, and she felt a shiver inch its way along her spine. She dropped a crust near it, but it only stood there shivering. As days passed, the hatchling remained smaller than it should have been, its skin mottled and thin. When the other ducklings learned to dabble and chase insects, it hung back amongst the reeds. Sometimes Elise would see it watching her as she scattered crumbs. She told herself it was only hungry, but she never threw food too close to where it lurked. At night, Elise dreamed, visions of black frozen water and pale shapes writhing beneath the ice. When autumn chilled the pond, the other ducks gathered to preen. The hatchling sat alone among the reeds, watching the others from afar. Elise stood at the bank, hugging her basket of breadcrumbs to her chest. She knew what they planned, even before she saw them advance in a ragged line. A drake lunged first, striking the ugly hatchling across the head. The thing let out a low, wet groan. Another duck struck the hatchling's neck with its beak. Another struck its side. The hatchling did not fight back. At last, the drake dragged it from the reeds and hurled it into the field. It lay there in the mud, limbs sprawled, eyes staring into nothing. Elise clutched her basket tighter, heart hammering. She thought about going to it, thought about scooping it up in her apron and hiding it in the hayloft where her father kept feed sacks. But she did nothing. Instead, she turned and fled, never looking back. She never went back to the pond that autumn. Winter came. When Elise returned to the pond weeks later, she found the reeds frozen in a crust of ice. There were no ducks, and no sign of the hatchling. Left for warmer weather, Elise thought. But Elise felt eyes on her, coming from beneath the frozen water. At night, Elise dreamed of the pond, darker and deeper than she knew it to be, frozen and stretching out before her. Beneath the ice lay the still bodies of all the ducks. Then in the black water, something moved, long and sinuous, its eyes twin points of black. The deep clicking, faint at first, intensified. Elise woke covered in sweat. She pressed her hands over her ears, trying to block the faint clicking that lingered from her dream. In midwinter, the pond ice cracked. The sound roared like lightning striking a tree during a storm. Elise bolted upright in bed, her heart thundering. She ran to the window and pressed her face to the cold glass. The pond lay still and black in the moonlight. Just a dream, nothing more. Spring thawed the fields. The village returned to life. Near the pond, the rushes grew tall and grey, rustling without wind. Elise brought her basket of breadcrumbs to the pond's edge each day, but the ducks had not returned. Sometimes she glimpsed movement, just out of sight. Elise didn't know what it was, but it was larger than any duck. One morning, Elise thought she spied a grey shape gliding beneath the water's surface. She stepped closer. The water was so still she could see her reflection. Behind her reflection, black eyes rose slowly into view. Elise stumbled back, dropping her basket. She fled home, telling herself it was only an eel, only her imagination. As summer deepened, strange stories spread. Livestock found dead in the fields, their bodies cold and strangely desiccated. Children who claimed to hear a voice whispering to them from the reeds. Elise lay awake each night, feeling the weight of her guilt. She should have helped the hatchling, but it was too late now. The last night of summer was unbearable. Elise tossed on her pallet, sweat soaking her shift. When she finally drifted to sleep, she dreamed of the pond again. Now the water was clear, and she could see all the way to the bottom. The hatchling waited there, only now it was enormous. Its long grey neck coiled like a serpent. Slowly it rose toward her, mouth yawning wide. "Why didn't you help me?" it rasped. Elise woke, tears stinging her eyes. That dawn, Elise's legs carried her to the pond without her meaning to go. The rushes towered over her head now, dry and grey. The water lay smooth as glass. Elise hugged herself, feeling the chill seep through her skin, even in the summer heat. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm sorry I didn't help." For a moment, nothing moved. Then the reeds parted. Something glided forward, taller than her father. Its grey skin gleaming like wet parchment. Its black eyes fixed on her, unblinking. It stopped at the water's edge, towering over Elise. She felt her knees buckle. Elise shook her head in disbelief, backing away. The creature lunged with impossible speed, its long neck darting forward, its cold, slick beak closed gently around her waist. She tried to scream, but no sound came. She struggled as it pulled her toward the water, but its strength was absolute. Elise felt a darkness bloom inside her, a cold deeper than the pond itself. The last thing she saw before she sank beneath the rushes was the surface closing over her, smooth and perfect, as if she'd never been there at all. In the village, people searched for Elise. They found her footprints in the mud, but no sign of Elise. From the still clear pond, all they heard was the faint, wet clicking from beneath the reeds, like something patiently waiting to be found. Some say the thing still lives in the pond, searching for others who turn away from those who need them. And when the moon is high, if you stand on the bank looking over the still pond water and listen carefully, you may hear a child's voice calling for help.